Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are breaking down some truly life-saving advice from a top heart surgeon who, believe it or not, suddenly found himself on the other side of the scalpel. His story, well, it could completely change the way you think about your own health. So, to really get a handle on the scale of this issue, just look at that number. Every single year, heart disease takes a staggering 20 million lives around the globe. That makes it the #1 killer of men and women. Full stop. A statistic like that really demands our attention. And this quote just frames it perfectly. It's from Dr. Jeremy London, a cardiovascular surgeon who's been in the game for 25 years. And he said this right after he became the patient on his very own operating table. Talk about a perspective shift. So Dr. London's whole ordeal didn't kick off in a hospital. Not even close. It started on a quiet morning at his country cabin, with a feeling that he, a heart surgeon of all people, just brushed off as simple acid reflux. As the day went on, this dangerous pattern of denial really took hold. What started as reflux came back while he was walking his dog, but this time he started sweating in 30-degree weather. Kind of weird, right? But then, back at home, the second he sat down, poof, it was gone. So he spent the day testing it. Yep, there's the pain on the stairs, and there it goes when he rests. That evening, it got way worse. We're talking crushing chest pain while he was out in a field with his son with no cell service. And still, he went to bed, didn't even tell his wife. It literally took that same crushing pain waking him up the next morning for him to finally admit, okay, something is seriously wrong here. So he gets to the hospital, and the truth comes out, fast and hard. A cardiac catheterization showed a 99% blockage in a major artery. The very thing he's an expert on, the very danger he spent a whole day explaining away, was suddenly staring him right in the face. His entire experience really reveals the single most important lesson for all of us. We have to learn to understand the subtle language our bodies use to signal a crisis. Because as Dr. London says, heart trouble is the great masquerader. And this is the absolute key takeaway right here. It's this idea of exertional symptoms. If you get any unusual symptom, I'm not just talking about chest pain, that shows up when you're active and then consistently disappears when you rest, that is a major, major red flag. It's the pattern that's telling you everything. And this is exactly why we've got to get that image of the TV heart attack out of our heads. As we saw with Dr. London, a heart attack can show up as reflux. For someone else, it might be a weird jaw pain, an ache in their elbow, or even just feeling unusually out of breath or tired. It can be sneaky. Okay, let's switch gears and get proactive. Based on his 2.5 decades of experience, Dr. London has a very clear list of what you absolutely must avoid if you want to stay off an operating table in the first place. His top 4 are pretty much non-negotiable. First up, smoking, which he says can jack up your heart disease risk by 100 times or even more. Second, way too much sugar and all those ultra-processed foods that just fuel constant inflammation. Third is alcohol, which he doesn't mince words about. He calls it a toxin. And here's the surprising one, alcohol-based mouthwash. Turns out it kills the good bacteria in your mouth that help produce nitric oxide, which is a huge deal for regulating your blood pressure. Who knew? And that brings us to that popular myth about red wine. You've heard it, right? A glass is good for your heart. Well, yeah, it has an antioxidant called resveratrol that has some benefits. But Dr. London makes it clear you'd have to drink an absolutely insane amount to get a dose that would actually help. And by then, the damage from the alcohol would be way, way worse. So the takeaway, enjoy a glass of wine if you like it, but don't for a second think it's heart medicine. So we know what to avoid. Now let's flip it and look at Dr. London's simple rules for what you should do. And he's big on this. It's all about progress, not perfection. And before you even think about joining a gym, he says the most powerful thing you can do is start a food journal. This isn't about shaming yourself, it's just about awareness. Simply tracking what you eat for a little while shows you all these hidden patterns and gives you ideas for super simple, high-impact changes. He's also got this brilliant, simple framework for grocery shopping that kind of puts you on autopilot for making better choices. 1, make a list. It helps you avoid those impulse buys. 2, shop the perimeter of the store. That's where all the real whole foods live. The processed stuff is all hiding in those center aisles. And 3, if you do go down those aisles, you gotta read the labels. And when you're looking at those labels, just keep his most memorable rule of thumb in your head. The longer the shelf life, the shorter your life. It's just a really powerful, simple way to remember to stick with fresh, whole foods as much as you can. All right, finally, let's get to the information that could literally save a life. Dr. London lays out an invaluable action plan for what to do if you even think you're having a heart attack. These are the practical steps you need to know for that moment of crisis. Okay, first and most important, call 911 immediately. Do not wait, don't second guess it. Second, while you're on the phone, go unlock your front door. That way, if you become incapacitated, the paramedics can still get in. Third, if it's dark out, flip on your porch lights to help them find your house quickly. Fourth, sit down or lie down to keep yourself from getting hurt if you pass out. And finally, call a family member or a friend and let them know what's going on. These simple steps can bring some order to a really chaotic moment and make a huge difference in the outcome. Dr. London's journey from surgeon to patient is just this incredible reminder that this isn't about being perfect. It's about making progress. It's about taking small, consistent steps that add up over time. So we'll leave you with this question. What's your one small step going to be?